بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين، واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Inshallah, before we start, it has been our tradition that the primary book we use for the scholar, we try to we recite Surah Al-Fatiha because we are using the knowledge which is left by Marhum, and in this case is Ayatollah Al-Uzma, the Ustad Al-Fuqaha wal-Mujtahideen, Al-Sayyid Abul Qasim Al-Khoi, Quddus Sirru. And we recite Surah Al-Fatiha for his soul and for all the ulamas and maraja and for his teachers and ancestors. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. So, just to let you know how to get hold of resources, I sent you this link, alkhoi.net. And the good thing about alkhoi.net, it is just a library, maktaba of the works of Sayyid Al-Khoi Quddus Sirru. And you can find the same thing on alkhoi.us. The TANQEEH is available there, and all these books are here on site, and you can get the PDF of the Mawsu'a. Mawsu'a means TANQEEH and all the books. Encyclopedia of Sayyid Al-Khoi. So basically this encyclopedia is available on alkhoi.net, and all the books are available in this method or in the bookcase method. And the reason I'm using bookcase method, because it looks like, it feels like there's a book in front of you, none other, because that sense of having, I know Sheikh Abu Hassan, he loves to always have physical books in his hand, and some of you others maybe, but always I say Abu Hassan is like piles of books in front of him. So, um, so that's why I'm using this, just to show you how the maktaba is. This is how Mawsu'at al-Imam al-Khoi. Now, Mawsu'at al-Imam al-Khoi is on fiqh and usul, and then we have Mu'jam Rijal al-Hadith, and then we have Minhaj al-Salihin, and Mabani. I have this Mabani. Actually, this is Sayyid al-Khoi's book, but his student made the Mabani. That means it has in the footnotes the opinions of his students are also available, Sayyid Muhammad Taqi al-Qummi. So that is Mabani. That means each fatwa of Minhaj al-Salihin. So I was hesitant to choose either Mabani, either Sayyid al-Khoi. But Tanqeeh, Sayyid al-Khoi has attested with his own istifta kind of own verification. I went through it and I found it, this. So what happened normally, Sayyid al-Khoi was rarely an author. His own author written book is like Mu'jam Rijal, Bayan fi Tafsir Quran. Even Minhaj al-Salihin is the commentary, his commentary on the book of Sayyid Muhsin Hakim al-Tabatabai, and all the Maraja, they started doing commentaries. So many of the books are not his students. They used to write, they used to make notes of the Bahth al-Kharij or Bahth of Sayyid al-Khoi, and they used to compile it and then give it to Sayyid al-Khoi. Most of the cases Sayyid al-Khoi is reviewed and given them this review letter, and then that review letter is available in most of these books. So I chose from the Mawsu'a التنقيح في شرح العروة الوثقى. In those days, we had only physical 6 volumes of Tanqeeh. The others, they had different names. So they decided to keep all, they're from different scholars, collect all these Bahth of Sayyid Al-Khoi from the students of Sayyid Al-Khoi, and just consider all of them TANQEEH. So if you will come to this page of TANQEEH, you will find out that the students of Sayyid al-Khouei who are following, see, these were the things like tanqih means Sheikh Mirza al-Gharawi, his notes were there. Then some parts of the tanqih are called al-Mustanad, that is Sheikh Murtada al-Burujirdi rahmatullah alayh. And then we have Mu'tamad fi Sharh al-Urwat al-Wuthqa, this Manasik al-Hajj of Sayyid al-Khouei. So tanqih basically was ijtihad, taqlid, and part of tahara, purification. Mustanad, uh, another name, another scholar, student of Sayyid al-Khouei, 10 volumes, all discussion about Salat, 2 volumes in fasting, and 2 volumes in Zakat, and 1 volume in Khums, and 1 volume in rental, rules of rental. So hiring and rental. So so this is all under Tanqih now. But in the beginning, you will see that it is originally Mustanad fi Sharh al-Ud, just to make it one title, one library named Tanqih, just for that purpose. Other than that, these are all different. Sayyid Muhammad Rida al-Khalkhali rahmatullah alayh, his was Al-Mu'tamad of Manasik al-Hajj of Sayyid al-Khouei, obviously. Bahth of Sayyid al-Khouei on Manasik al-Hajj. Then Mabani, Sayyid Muhammad Taqi al-Khouei, son of Sayyid al-Khouei, rahmatullah alayh. This is Mabani fi Sharh al-Urwat al-Wuthqa. Again, his Sayyid al-Khouei's Bahth. And in this Mabani, he discusses the rules of marriage in Mudaraba, like partnership, rules of partnership, musaqat, irrigation or watering partnership, rules of watering partnership. And then there is a general indexes, okay, 1 volume. Then we have Misbah al-Faqaha. This is the Bahth on Makasib. So Makasib of Sayyid al-Khouei, Makasib of Sheikh al-Ansari, Sayyid al-Khouei gave Bahth Kharij on him. So Sayyid al-Khouei's Bahth Kharij on Makasib, it's called Misbah al-Faqaha. And Mirza Ali al-Tawhidi, rahmatullah alayh, he did this. And then we have Tanqih في المكاسب, and so on. You will find all these books available in this Mawsu'a of Sayyid al-Khouei Quddus Sirruh. So this is one of the important things to know, that it is not Sayyid al-Khouei who wrote, though his students used to write and they used to present it to Sayyid al-Khouei, and Sayyid al-Khouei would verify it. That is why I like to adhere to Tanqih more than Mabani li Sayyid Muhammad Taqi al-Qummi, which has his opinions also in that book. And this is something about Sayyid al-Khouei which you all know. I mean, he's like a sun in the daylight, which most of the Hausa student should know Sayyid al-Khouei. Otherwise, they are not real student of Hausa, because if they are not introduced to Sayyid al-Khouei, even subhanallah, this time Sheikh Jawadi Amuli was in Najaf al-Ashraf. He said, who does not know Sayyid al-Khouei, Qaddas Sirra, you see, and his depth and knowledge. So he praised Sayyid al-Khouei a lot, that Sheikh Jawadi Amuli, the scholar in Tafsir al-Quran. So, and even Sayyid al-Khamenei praised Sayyid al-Khouei. If you don't know Sayyid al-Khouei, start selling insurance because you don't know anything about Hausa, because he was a revolutionary in the world of Hausa, and that's why many they call it Imam al-Khouei. He did a lot of like remodeling the ilm al-usul, remodeling, modification of a lot of things. So from Rijal to Tafsir to Fiqh, Hadith, this guy was the giant. And this all are introductions by the top students of Sayyid al-Khouei. And here we come to our so this is this meme 60 means muqaddima. So this was all preface or introduction to this book, 60 pages onto Sayyid al-Khouei, and to all the projects of Sayyid al-Khouei Quddus Sirruh rahmatullah alayh. He he approximately he reached the level of ijtihad in his 20s, or some scholars say before 20s, and then he taught Bahth al-Kharij, and he died and he was in his 90s. So 70 years he taught Bahth al-Kharij, 70 years to mujtahideen and ulama. That's a big time of teaching Bahth Kharij. So that's why it is said that there is no student of Hausa today, except he is student of Sayyid al-Khoi or the student of the student of Sayyid al-Khoi. So yeah, that's how Sayyid al-Khoi is infiltrated the lives of the Hausa students from east to the west. Anyhow, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rest his soul in peace. And may Allah give us tawfiqat to be sincere and straightforward, like these great scholars like Sayyid al-Khouy and other great scholars in our history. Ameen Rabbil Alameen. So, I tried to use Mullah Chat GBT, and as usual, I found a lot of errors in translation, even though I kept in the prompt translate according to the jurisprudence terminologies of fiqh and usul in the Shia Ja'fari school. So that's the closest. That by doing that, also he was able to give us the closest translation. But there were some, and the words of Sayyid al-Khouy, it's not like you can easily translate or any chat GBT or anything. Somebody, there needs to be a chat GBT who studied with Sayyid al-Khouy to translate Sayyid al-Khouy's words. Anyhow, so today we are in our introduction. I fixed the translation a bit, but I'm going to keep it beside here so that in case if you want to follow, you can follow this side in English. And I'm going to try to be as slow as possible in order to, let's see if the book comes. Yes, perfect. So we have this book this side. Actually, I like, since I went through yeah, I use this page. So I'll just stick to this page. So بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Obviously, this is a muqaddimah. Sayyid Muhammad Kadhim al-Tabatabai, yes, the Tabatabai, he's the author of the Urwat al-Wuthqa. So what is Urwat al-Wuthqa? Urwat al-Wuthqa is same like Minhaj al-Salihin, Tahrir al-Wasila, Wasilat al-Najat. It's a book of law. Who's the author of this book of law? He's Sayyid Yazdi al-Tabatabai. He was a giant in Najaf al-Ashraf in fiqh. So he has this book for the on a Minhaj al-Salihin level. So it has all the laws except for the chapter of TAQLID, where in this TANQEEH it has been added as a bahth of Sayyid al-Khou'i on TANQEEH. So, but Urwat al-Wuthqa, normally some versions they don't have the chapter of taqlid in the beginning, some they have. So basically, Sayyid Kadhim Yazdi Tabatabai, he is the author of the Urwat al-Wuthqa. So you can see in the bottom there is sharh, as you saw also in the other version, that these are footnotes. So basically, what we are studying here now are footnotes. So this thick bolded font is the segment of Arwat al-Wufqa, Yazdi Tabatabai. This bahth is of Sayyid al-Khouy underneath. So if you can imagine, يجب على كل مكلف, it is obligatory upon every responsible person. Just to explain this, Bahth Kharij level, look, this is 1 page, 2 page, 3 page, okay, and 4 page, 5 page, 6 page, or 5 page. So here, 5 pages, just one line, imagine. And then he continues to explain the other two lines. So that is what Bahth al-Kharij means. In case if you, so if I'm going, and this is Bahth Usuli Hadith. What I want to do in these sessions, until you become mature in ilm al-usul and do halaq al-thaniya and halaq al-thalitha, I'm not going to do bahth usuli. So we are going to try to go through, let's see, yeah, bahth hadithi. Wherever I find hadith of, say, Sayyid al-Khui mentioned ayah or hadith, specifically ayah, because ayat is hadith. Ayat, I have explained it in my course, Ayatul Ahkam, verses of law. Hadith, uh, every section I'll find hadith and Wasa'il al-Shia. So Wasa'il al-Shia is the encyclopedia you all know. We had collections of hadith. We had Al-Kafi, then Al-Istibsar, Al-Tahdhib, Man La Yahdhur Al-Faqih. These are Kutub al-Arba'a. These are the original Kutub al-Arba'a. We call it for the early ones. So the early ones, the dateline of the early one is where Sheikh al-Tusi. All the authors before Sheikh al-Tusi, they are early ones. And they are our primary sources. That's our dependent. Yes, obviously there are authentic hadith, non-authentic hadith, every type of hadith we'll see. We don't say those are sahih book like our Sunni fellows they say, and they blame us for we claiming sahih. Yes, some of the Shia old schools, they used to call them, they used to consider them Kutub al-Arba authentic. That said, but then obviously the Usuli ulama, they prove that there are contradictions in the hadith. There are hadith, they don't have proper links. There are hadith, they're conflicting with our aqidah of school of Ahlul Bayt. Lots of problems are there in many hadith. So that's why we do not claim that Kutub al-Arba are sahah. Yes, should we go to beyond Kutub al-Arba, other books? No. We try to stick to Kutub al-Arba. Why? Because Kutub al-Arba were collected from the booklets, like 400, they call it al-Usul al-Arba'ma'a, 400 principal booklets written and narrated, written and heard by the narrations of Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, and the other A'immas alayhi salam. So these Usul al-Arba'a, mainly Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, these 400 Usul al-Arba'a, they were with the scholars like Allam al-Kulayni. So Allam al-Kulayni collected them in this Al-Kafi. And and then, so how do we know that Allam al-Kulayni was authentic and he really collected, or it was just he made up the whole Kafi? No, because there are so many scholars of the time of Allam al-Kulayni. They verify him as a trustworthy scholar. That means never ever they see lie, and he was spiritual person, godly person, God loving. That means we have verifications from the scholars of his time, that, and they were also mentioning the scholars who came after. Like if Allam al-Kulayni had problems, why Sheikh al-Tusi? Sheikh al-Tusi, Sheikh al-Ta'ifa, again of most trustworthy. He also kept in his book a hadith of Allam al-Kulayni. And then other ulamas, they took the hadith from al-Kutub al-Arba, and this Sahib al-Wasail, Hurr al-Amili, Wasail al-Shia. He collected all the Kutub al-Arba and all the reliable books in that time, of the Al-Kutub al-Qadima scholars like Man La Yahdhur al-Faqih. Yes, you will find like some of the books, as I mentioned, they're weak narrations. Some of them, they are fabricated. So the efforts was to compile the narrations in an encyclopedia, where instead of the scholar looking into Al-Kafi, and then checking into Al-Istibsar, checking. So you will see in Wasa'il al-Shia, if you check the Bab al-Salah, you will see down the hadith. This is from Al-Kafi, this is from Istibsar, this from Al-Tahdhib, this from Al-Lahd al-Faqih, and this and this and that. So it's everything is available in one page or two page or three page, the collection of the hadith. So that is why Sayyid al-Khuy Quddas al-Sirra or other maraja, great maraja, they will have wasail in their maktaba. So it's very important that our Hausa students who are going to learn this bahth, that they have wasail so they can see who else. By this you can know tawatur of hadith. Because of Al-Kulaini narrated, Sheikh Tusi narrated from different chain of narrators, Sheikh Saduq Malahul Faqih narrated from different chain of narrators. That gives the narration a strength of tawatur. So therefore, it is very important for us to have this encyclopedia of Wasa'il Shia with us, so that we are able to collect all the ahadith together and check out the how much strength there are in the ahadith. So this collection of Kutub al-Qadima, and then from the Kutub al-Hadith as Wasail al-Shia. Now, no, Alama Nur al-Tabrisi came later. He found out that there are ahadith. They are in the same, because whenever the book of hadith is written, the scholar will write the criteria. What was my purpose? Why? What is my criteria? What type of hadith I'm compiling? So Allam Tabrasi, he saw that there are so many hadith. They are according to the criteria of Sahib al-Wasail, author of Wasail, but they were not included in it. So he made an annex, call it mustadrak. Mustadrak means annex, attachment, something which is continuation. Istidrak ma fata. That means to capture what was missed. Istadrak, yastadrak. So Mustadrak al-Wasail is like whatever was missed by Al-Hurr al-Amili, it was collected by the Tabrasi. And then we come to the Al-Kashani and Bihar al-Anwar, which collected this and that and all the compilations in Bihar al-Anwar. So even in Bihar al-Anwar, if you open, you will find the hadith down reference Al-Kafi, Saduq, Istibsar, Tahdhib, and then other books as well, which were not used by our main traditional scholars like Sheikh al-Tusi, Sheikh al-Saduq, Sheikh al-Mufid, and those grand scholars. So added more books, and many books were written also or collected or compiled after Sheikh al-Tusi are also in Bihar al-Anwar. So Bihar al-Anwar is an encyclopedia of hadith, but not that much reliable as much as these Wasa'il Shia, because the focus and Wasa'il was mostly in fiqh. So, and we need in our fiqh bahth as hadith of fiqh to find out our responsibilities towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, be it wajib, haram, mustahab, makruh, and mubah. So that is something about what we are going to do here. Is we are going to depend on the tanqih and the bahth al-riwa'i of Sayyid al-Khu'i Quddus Sirro, not bahth al-usuli. I'm going to today touch the bahth al-usuli somehow, just to let you get the gist of bahth al-usuli. However, please do not run away, because we are going to focus more on al-bahth al-riwa'i until all of you are done with at least halaqa thaniya, second halaqa of Shaykh Muhammad Baqir al-Sadr, so that you can have a grasp of some of the analytical information, because usul is all about like a WD-40 of the brain. So it lubricates the brain. In the car you need the oil. If you don't put the oil, the machine will crack down and break, like it happened to me when I used to be very busy in Qatar. So I forgot even to put oil in my car, and one day I'm driving, suddenly it stopped on the roundabout edge. Nothing is happening, and we had to tow my car to the garage, and they said, congratulations. I said, what? Your machine engine is broken, so we have to bring the whole engine down and remove whatever to do. a rehaul or whatever. So that was like a mess. So please, if you're a Hausavi student and you're Hausavi maniacs and you're like deep, please make sure that you oil your car as well as you oil your brains, because that is also one of the important things. We need to have the lubrications going on in the what they say in the oil in the car and in the brain. Okay, Sayyid Ali, Bismillah, تفضل. You had a question?
No, Sheikh, I will just ask if you will share the screen again. So it was that.
تقدر تقول بالعربي.
اي عفوا عفوا بس على مود السكرين ما كان
اها.
ما كان واضح عندي هسه وضح تمام.
تمام تمام.
حبيبي شكرا.
لأن كنت أتكلم عن I was speaking about the introduction to hadith, and we are going to do the بحث الروائي and not بحث الأصولي. So here you can see the riwayah is at the end. رواه الشيخ في أماله حدثنا كذا كذا until this riwayah. So we are going to inshallah touch this next week. But today we are going to just go through just an idea about why ilm al-usul is important in many of the students. They don't study ilm al-usul and they come to attend the bahth al-kharij, and that is so I know our session is not supposed to be bahth usuli because I promised bahth riwa'i, but still just to give you an idea so that you try to focus on ilm al-usul, and until we are ready. We are going to continue the same book. So once you are done with the ilm al-usul, we will try to we'll try to go to and we'll raise the level. We are not going to start from the beginning because these concepts they keep repeating. So once we do in the future and we start applying the concept, when you review backwards, you will find out, oh yeah, this is what we studied. This is what we studied. So let's me see.
Sheikh,
Yes,
عندي I had one more question. For the followers of Sayyid Sistani, will this be a conflict if we only study Sayyid al-Khouei بحث الرواية or the Sayyid
my
al-Khouei?
beloved,
Yes.
this is not the class of أحكام شرعية. We are
Yes.
not teaching fiqh, we are
Okay.
teaching istinbat. So this
Okay.
mas'ala, you can, if you follow Sayyid al-Sistani, you can go and check your Sayyid al-Sistani this mas'ala. If you are following Sayyid al-Khamenei or Sayyid al-Khomeini or Sayyid al-Khoui, just check this thing. We are not dealing with ahkam here. We are taking this small segment and
Yes.
we are checking how was this segment derived from the resources using ilm al-usul. So,
Thank you.
so we are not
Thank you.
teaching fiqh here. We are
Yes.
teaching istidlal, like
Yes.
deduction. So riwayat also, if
Yes.
the hadith we derive something, check what your marja says, and and see. You will understand, because some maraja they consider this riwayah ضعيفة, Sayyid al-Khuy considered qawiya, or vice versa. So that means Sayyid Sistani has a mas'ala different than this. So it could be because of the riwayah or because of the madarik al-usuliyya or al-mabani, the concept of ilm al-usul or the principles of ilm al-usul, which Sayyid al-Khuy sometimes, Sayyid Sistani sometimes differs from Sayyid al-Khuy in some of the principles of ilm al-usul. Okay? Because ilm
جزاك الله خير.
al-usul is
That's good.
also not everyone. Shaykh al-Sadr, he differs from Sayyid al-Khuy in some of the principles of ilm al-usul. Sayyid al-Sistani differs from Sayyid al-Khuy. Sayyid al-Khuy differs from his teacher Shaykh al-Na'ini, and Agha Buzurg al-Tahrani also, and Diyauddin al-Iraqi. So as there is a fiqh variances among the giants, there are usul variances among the giants, and those variances we study in ilm usul al-fiqh, which is al-halaqa al-ula wal-thaniya wal-thaltha, especially al-halaqa al-thaltha. You will see, or in al-kifaya, you will see a lot of variances in ilm al-usul. The Shaykh al-Sadr will bring the opinion of this, opinion of this, opinion of this, and try to do the amalgamation and try to back and forth and use the rebuttals against each other. and then sometimes he'll present his conclusion. And Shaykh al-Sadr rarely would put his conclusion, his opinion, in halaq al-ula thaniya. In halaq al-thaltha you will see the thumbprints of his opinions in ilm al-usul, where the principle of usul is different from mujtahid to mujtahid akhar. Okay.
Jazakallah khair, Mullah.
Okay, so now we come to this. So the question of discussion is: هل هذا الوجوب شرعي؟ شرعي means نفسي، طريقي، غيري، أو عقلي. So in علم الأصول, if you come to علم الأصول, you have those who have studied حلقة الأولى and ثانية. So we have a chapter called دليل شرعي, and we have a chapter called دليل عقلي. دليل شرعي is the religious evidences. That means Quran and the narrations of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. When we say hadith, the hadith could mean the words of the infallible, the actions of the infallible, the acknowledgements of the infallible. So this is what if the wajib obligation has been derived from religious evidences, we call it al-wujub al-shar'i. If the obligation has been derived from logical principles, not sir al-uqala'iyya. Many of our students, they get mixed up with sir al-uqala'iyya. Sir al-uqala'iyya is the lifestyle of the intellectual society, not necessary logical arguments. Lifestyle of the intellectual society, they use their sound mind to establish a common system, to establish a common intellectual society. It functions properly. So there we have the functionality of the society to run in balance the intellect. Like for example, a person is innocent until proven to be guilty. Where did this come from? The intellectual society, to prevent the chaos from the community, and rather everybody comes and accuses this person, that person, that person, that person. Okay, so what happened? The uqala, they started practicing. Well, if you want to accuse someone, bring evidence. Okay, and then they practice it globally, except for the intellectual society where their intellect is lost. You can't rely on them. You see, they have absurd things. They start to practicing absurd things. Then that intellectual society has lost their intellect. They are intellectual society, but the intellect has gone lost, or either partially got lost. But sound intellectual societies, okay, which are run by the sound intellectual people, they have certain rules and regulations to maintain the stability of the society away from chaos. And it has more other definitions. I'm trying to simplify it here. So what is then dalil aqli? Logical evidence, rational evidence. Rational evidence uses logic. Logic means 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Okay. So what is the difference between Sir al-Uqalai? Sir al-Uqalai is lifestyle. It was practiced in front of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It was practiced in front of the Ma'sumin alayhi salatu wasalam. And many of these things are practiced up to day now. So it went through before the infallibles. It went through the time of the infallibles. Infallibles observed it. They did not say anything. That means there was an acknowledgement, approval, and that is what? Hadith. That is hadith. So that's why when we say concepts of the intellectual society, approved by the ma'soom, approved by the ma'soom, that means ma'soom is involved in it. That means that is a hadith. So that is a different direction, because many times our beloved youngsters, I mean, my beloved houses, sons and daughters, they get mixed up between sir al-uqala'iyya, lifestyle of the intellectual society, and between the logical arguments or rational evidence, logical evidence. So what is the dalil aqli? He said, oh, no aqli. So we need to find out that taqlid is based on religious evidence or rational evidence, logical evidence. Okay. So dalil aqli, what does it mean? Like example, uh, muqaddimatul wajib wajib. If Hajj or Salat or fasting, anything becomes wajib upon me, okay, then I need to fulfill it. I need to do wudu. Wudu is wajib because Salat is wajib. Now that prerequisite, which is muqaddimah shar'iyya, because wudu is prerequisite because Sharia made it a prerequisite. La salata illa bitahur. You cannot offer salat without purification. So therefore, you need purification. So it's a prerequisite. Sharia has attached this prerequisite to the salat. So it is called what? Muqaddimah Shar'iyyah. Religious prerequisite. Why? Because the source of this prerequisite is Dalil Shari. Because intellectual, wudu and salah, they don't have anything to do. This is another world. This is another world. The Sharia came and connected it together. Okay, like you have like two friends, Zaid and Ahmed, or let's say Agha Arad and Agha Abu Hassan. They are like friends. So we did it mu'akha on the day of Ghadir, and we made this beast and the monster together with Aqd al-Ukhuwa. So now we established a connection. Self, they don't know. One is Lebanese, one is Persian, one is in Australia, one is in USA. Uh, yeah, there is M for Michigan and M for Melbourne. Okay. But totally, but we established a connection. Okay. So, so it is not an intellectual connection. So, but for between the sun and the sunlight, it is a natural connection. We cannot separate the sunlight from the sun unless it is kun fayakun situation. So when we are talking about the sun and sunlight, its self connection it can be perceived intellectually. Okay, anywhere any person intellect sees the sun will picture the sunlight. Remember you did dilala in mantiq, the indication, the dilala al-aqliya, dilala al-dhatiya. So this is the natural indication, that not tabi'iyya, then the translation gets mixed up. I'll say self indication or self relation. There's a relation connected where in Chinese, Japanese, Mayonnaise, Lebanese, whoever is, they can understand it. But the connection between Arad and Abu Hassan, nobody can, except I have to tell them, then they can perceive this kind of bonding and relation was established. So these are the two things. So wudu and salat, there's no intellectual connection. Even ritualistic, there are two different things. One is washing, one is connecting spiritually and mentioning the some words as an obligation. So, but Sharia says without wudu, don't offer salah. So this is called muqaddimah shar'iyya, a prerequisite which is religious prerequisite. Why religious? Because the Sharia made a connection, established a connection. So let's see, muqaddimah aqliya. So now salat is wajib. For salat, wudu is wajib. Now we come to where, how will I do wudu? The only way at this time, I have only narrow time left, like 10 minutes, my salat will be qada. Okay. Like a guy wakes up, oh my goodness, only 5 minutes left for Tulu Shams, a rising of the sun. Let me just quickly go. The only way he could do the wudu is in this short time by opening the faucet. So if he does not open the faucet, he cannot do the wudu. Even the fridge is empty. Don't tell me, oh, maybe there's a bottle in the fridge. No, no, we are putting a hypothetic here that there's no other way except for this bathroom, and in this bathroom there's only one sink, and this is the only way. So we will say it is wajib. upon you to open the faucet. What are you? Abu Fulana? Are you like fabricating hadith? Which Imam said it is wajib to open the faucet? The faucet was not even there in that time. I think so. So which? I said no, it is dalil aqli. Are you doing qiyasat of fulan? No, 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 Baba. It is wajib upon you to do wudu. It is wajib upon you to do salah. How will you do the wudu? Logical, the only logical way you have is to open the faucet. So in order to do that wajib, you have to do this. So this opening the faucet becomes wajib as a prerequisite to that wajib. So this is called muqaddima aqliya. This is logical argument here, logical, rational situation. This is the prerequisite of the obligation is obligation, obligatory. So something which is obligation, you cannot, like for example, Hajj. The only way, for example, you have to go for Hajj is the only way now you can is with the ticket, airline ticket, for example. So it'll say, it is wajib upon you to purchase the ticket. Wajib? Who said? Bring me a hadith. Bring me evidence. I'll bring you evidence, but not a religious evidence. Logical evidence. Rational evidence. Isn't Hajj wajib upon you? Yes. Do you have a seafare by ship? No. By road? No. By camel? No. By train? No. By donkey? No. By walking? No. So what is the only, which airline? Turkish airline, for example, they're not giving me commission to advertise them. So Turkish airline, okay. So I'll say it is wajib upon you to take that Turkish airline ticket which is available and go for Hajj. Why wajib? Do you have any, you have power of kun fayakun, tayyil ard, you put your feet here and then next feet is in Makkah. No, not in Makkah. You have to enter the state of Ihram. In Miqat, do you have any kind of thing like that? No. Then it is wajib upon you to get an airline ticket of this so and so airline because that's the only seat available for you. So wajib aqli. So that is why here he gave the option is, as we study in ilm al-usul, that al-wujub shar'i أو أنه عقلي. Okay, that's the point of discussion. But then shar'i, there are three types of shar'i. There is nafsi, there is tariqi, there is ghairi. So here in this English area, I've just gave you a few examples of this shar'i and tariqi. So here the shar'i is religious evidence, okay? And this is like divided into intrinsic nafsi. That means it is wajib by itself. Like salat. Salat is wajib. Okay? It is not wajib for something else. It's not wajib ghairi. It is wajib for itself. Salat. So it's wajib nafsi. And then we have tariqi. Tariqi, it is not wajib by itself. No. It is wajib to reach to another wajib. I'm going to explain that. Tariqi. Like for example, moon sighting. Moon sighting, if you look into the Bahth of Ilm al-Usul and Bahth of moon sighting, Sayyid al-Khoei discusses this. Is it tariqi or mawdu'i? That means moon sighting is wajib for itself, nafsi, or no, it is a method of finding out a bigger wajib, knowing the entrance of the month. So most of our fuqaha, they say tariqi. Tariqi, that means it is not wajib upon me to sight the moon. If I find any other tariq, other route, other method, other instrument to get hold at the moon is there in a sightable condition in the sky, I don't need to sight the moon. Because sighting the moon itself is not wajib nafsi. It is wajib tariqi. It's a mean instrument for me to, so I can skip this if I can reach the purpose. So see, don't get mixed up between tariqi and ghairi, because many of our beloved ones, they get mixed up between tariqi and ghairi. So tariqi, you understood. Tariqi, you can skip the tariq. Okay, you want to go for Hajj by road. Okay, so you have to. But let's say you get a ticket which takes you to Hajj. Let's say you find any other. So it is not wajib for you to uphold these turuq. The main thing is Hajj. Okay, but then you have to choose one of the tariqs. You cannot skip it totally. So therefore, that is the tariq that you can skip it, but ghairi you cannot skip it. So muqaddim wajib ghairi means muqaddima. Wudu you cannot skip it. Wudu is wajib for salat. So it is wujub ghairi. Let's say wujub, some of the scholars they have different opinion. Let's say ghusl. So ghusl al-janaba is not wajib in itself. If somebody is, like for example, if a woman she's in a period, she did janaba, and because of the shock and awe situation, she got into period, and now her period lasts. So does she have to do ghusl janaba? No. For at least 3 days, she's not going to offer salat. So she doesn't have to do ghusl janaba. So it is wajib, but wajib ghairi. But can she skip and pray after she is pure, or can she skip and pray without doing the purification from the monthly period ghusl or ghusl janaba? She can combine both ghusl together, but can she skip the ghusl? No. Can you skip moon sighting? Yes. So see the difference between tariqi, you can skip because the purpose is met. Ghairi, no, they are interconnected with each other. Sharia made it interconnected. So in tariqi, you can skip. In ghairi, you cannot skip. In ghairi, you have to observe the wajib for other things. Like it is consequential. There are like natija, like cause and effect kind of relation in wajib ghairi. Ghusl, no salat. It's not that I skip the ghusl salat is unless if the duty goes to tayammum, no salah. So you cannot reach the purpose without this cause. It's consequential without this ghairi. So wajib ghairi you must do to reach that consequences. Wajib tariqi you can skip. So I hope this is clear between this wajib and ghairi and tariqi. So he says, Sayyid al-Khoi Quddus Sirro, he says that as-sahih, the correct to me is no aqli, wajib aqli. You see, it's not shar'i because the narrations are weak to Sayyid al-Khoi, which indicates taqlid. So it is a sahih innahu aqliyun, wujubun aqliyun. But how can you analyze that وجوب العقلي? Okay, ومعنى ذلك أن العقل يدرك أن في ارتكاب المحرم وترك الواجب, the intellect concludes, the intellect can understand, can comprehend, intellect, okay, that when you commit haram, you're going to be in trouble. When you leave wajib, you're going to be in trouble. Okay, that means when you are going to not have seat belts, you're going to be in trouble. So you have to have seat belts. So the precautionary measures which we do, they're all based on intellectual precautionary measures. If you know that there is a flood on the road, water, the road has been sinked, there's a danger, you will not go there. If you go there, your intellect has been mashed potato. Okay, so therefore you will not drive there. So you will go backwards and go back, find another route. Why? Because there's danger. So Sayyid al-Khoi says that when we commit haram or leave wajib, there's a danger of punishment. If we leave it without any of proof, without any proof which we can depend on, دون استناد إلى الحجة استحقاقا للعقاب, will be worth of punishment. So this is if we know that haram is it's clearly haram and it's clearly wajib. So we have to know the ruling of the things of the wajib and haram. We have to confirm it. Sayyid al-Khoi, unlike some other maraja, he has a unique theory. He says no. Even this you will study in halaq al-ula and halaq al-thaniya and so on. that Sayyid al-Khoy, Sayyid al-Sadr says, Sayyid al-Ustad has this, he says, even probable, if there is a probability that you might be punished if you leave this, or you might be punished if you commit, you need to take your necessary measures to avoid that probable. Why Sayyidina does it? Is it intellectual? I mean, the judge does not punish until the crime is proven. Yes, but what about the seat belts? What about the tire? Why is it extra tire, extra wheel you keep in the car? Why you put the? Are you sure that you are going to have a flat tire? Are you sure you're going to have a car accident? Why you take these kind of measures to prevent yourself from harm? You're not sure about the harm. So he said this kind of thing. Yes, in the human society, if the judge accuses the innocent by probability, it is not right. But when it comes to a realm of Mawla, the Master, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we have a different case of accountability. Then in the case of Allah, we have to be more cautious in our actions, that if I have probability that this may be haram, I should avoid. If I have probability that this may be wajib, I should do it. So Mawla Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is different than Mawla al-Urfi. That is according to Sayyid al-Khoei Quddasa Sirru. That is why he's saying كما أن في ارتكاب المشتبهات شبهة. It's not confirmed that it is haram or halal. For Sayyid al-Khuy, no. When you're dealing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, unless you have an evidence giving you bara'ah, freedom of any liability, intellect tells you you have to be very careful when you're dealing with the akhirat, when you're dealing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, في ارتكاب المشتبهات احتمال كما أن في ارتكاب المشتبهات ihtimalul iqab. If you do something which is doubtful haram, or leave something which is doubtful wajib, you see, there is a possibility of punishment. لتنجز الأحكام الواقعية, because the real rules which are in the realm of Allah are hold you accountable. There's a munajjiziyya there. There's accountability there. على المكلف بالعلم الإجمالي. Okay, there is ilm. That means a knowledge with the areas which are not confirmed to be, like you have ilm ijmali, means you have this two cups. One of them, we don't know which one, has a drop of blood. You cannot drink it, or you cannot use it for wudu. This ilm al-ijmal, you have knowledge. If you have knowledge, then that's hujjah. Ijmali, but not specific. So unspecified knowledge. You see, unspecific knowledge. So I don't know which one. Yes, avoid both of them, because you're dealing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Uh, that's ilm. But then even ihtimal. I have أو بالاحتمال كما يأتي تفصيله. As we are going to mention the details of this concept, that even if there's a probability that it's haram, and if it's a probability it's wajib, you have to hold it as yaqeen. فلا مناص لدى العقل من تحصيل ما هو المؤمن من العقاب. There is no diversion for the aql. You see, if it wants to perform, then it has to find one of the three ways to do it: either ijtihad, either taqlid, either precautionary measures. So initially aql will tell you precaution, like the extra wheel in the car, like the safety rules and regulations. These are all based on probable danger. Okay, so you have the aql says, observe these probable dangers as well, because we are dealing with akhirat danger. So you do precaution. If you don't want to do precaution, then get the knowledge of either it is wajib or either it's not wajib, either it's haram or not haram. So how do I get the knowledge? Find out by yourself. You have evidences. Become mujtahid. Or no, if you can't become mujtahid, follow someone. Get his knowledge. And if you don't want to become mujtahid, can't become mujtahid, don't want to follow, Do precautionary measures. احتياط. Okay, احتياط. So do احتياط, but you have to avoid the probable danger. The probable danger can only be avoided by staying away from committing any probable violation, احتياط, or following someone, or find out by yourself that there is no violation for sure, mujtahid, or find someone who tells you there is no violation in committing this probable act, that is taqlid. So this is these are the three aspects of taqlid, and you can see, because of this the analytical usul which I explained about tariqi and all this, it took almost 1 hour just to explain these many lines. So inshallah we'll continue, and I'm going to shift to the mode. I just let want this. There's still more usul down. I'm going to send you the one which I have fixed the translation of it, so you can try to see how many Panadols you want to, or Alvedon, or paracetamols you want to have, or how many cup of extra espresso coffee you want to have. So this is something which you will have to deal. But as I said, inshallah, I'm going to go to the mode of bahth riwa'i. It's a bit lesser intense than even in bahth riwa'i. The content will require ilm al-usul. There is no problem. We will try to discuss those areas in a lum'a level, rather than going to the makasib or the higher level, inshallah. But this is what you see, an example of how three lines here took about an hour of explanation. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين.